subscribe, please.
Subscribe.
Like, do that. Like, you know what? Just do that. Because bare of you lot just come, and then you watch, and then like you just cut, and then some of you lot come, and then like if you see me, you're like, yeah, boom, flipping, love the pod, boom, 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 boom. But like, then you haven't subscribed in that. I beg you, just subscribe. Even if it's the audio, if you're listening via audio or whatnot on the pod, like subscribe via Spotify, do it via Apple, do it via Amazon. Like subscribe there for me, please, yeah. And also, do you know what'd be sick? If you could leave, if you're doing an audio thing, leave a light review. How about that? Even if it's not even a great one, just leave a light review. But if you're watching this, do it right now. Just 1 sec. Thanks. Like, what's going on with you? How are you? Like, how are you?
I'm good, you know, I'm good. My family just FaceTime me. They're all in Cyprus.
Yeah, they're away, innit?
And I'm a bit like, okay, cool. Want to go see them now. I'm going to go in a couple of days. Yeah, I've been good. I've just been working, like, trying to make the most of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Like, you know, obviously Love Island came along, and it was just it was random.
Big man, let me tell you this, yeah, let's just talk properly.
Go on.
I didn't we went, yeah, and had like, what was it, we've gone to some next place, gone for some drinks or whatever, and then like you was gonna introduce me to the guys that do strawberries and cream, I think it was.
Yeah.
I remember us talking about that. I can't remember why. I've met them before anyway. They're super cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, now we were supposed to meet them or whatnot, and then you said to me, "Oh, do you know what? I don't even know if I can come because I'm gonna be away." So I'm like, "Oh, where you going?" You was like, "Mallorca." I'm like, "All right, cool." You was like, "Just go with my sister, and like you'll meet them." So I'm like, "All right, cool." I did not think none the wiser. But then I did think in my head, wait, 1 second, yeah? I'm about to go to a festival with your brethren and sister, and you're not there. But that's cool though.
Yeah.
But I just didn't think much of it. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So we've gone to the... No, actually, we didn't even go to the festival. I'm chilling in my yard watching Love Island now because I'm just in the vibes of Love Island because I enjoy this thing, yeah? I'm in this is my 3rd year... From the beginning,
knee deep in it.
Yeah, knee deep in it. By the way, just like as a light disclaimer, the year before, the first year I actually was watching it. I remember I was seeing someone at the time, and I remember she was watching it, and it was just lightly on TV, and I was just doing something on my laptop, and when I've looked at the TV, I just see a couple smashing to bits in the room. I'm like, what? Like,
which year was this?
This was like 4 years ago. The brother was in there. But I tell you, I'm not even joking, yeah? They showed it on the TV. Just only like...
It's changed now.
100%. I want to talk about that in a bit as well. But for about 4 seconds, they showed him tucking into his meal. Like, not even... He was chopping like it was never going to happen again. I was thinking, right, big man, he's like, that's my vibe, innit? So from then I was like, wow, what is this? So it kind of got me from there. Yeah. And then I started watching and whatnot. So anyway, now I'm watching Love Island. I'm on Twitter. And then I see someone tweet saying, yo, is today the day? No, because I hadn't heard. Remember you said you'd gone away or whatever. Yeah. Remember also you're supposed to help me with my best mate.
I felt really bad because I was meant to help Chuckie organise a stag do. Because, you know, I'm good at organising stuff, whatever. I was like, right. And then I realised I'm going and I was losing my phone because you have this quarantine period before. So I wasn't going to have my phone for 10 days before anybody knew that I was on the show. And I literally just didn't tell anyone except my family and stuff. And then I felt bad. I said to my sister, I was like, Chuckie needs help. Just like, help
Yeah. I see a tweet saying, it was a Friday. Is today the day that Antigoni is going on Love Island? My immediate response, I was tweeted back immediately, you what? And then I deleted it. So I ran for Yola and I'm like, I got one question for you. I just need just a direct answer. She was like, what? I said, where's Antigoni? Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? She just started laughing. She was like, oh, flipping no. Like, she went, I'm so surprised that you didn't clock on. But I'm like, that was the first time I realised that Love Island was even in Mallorca.
Oh, really?
I didn't even know that was there. I didn't even know where it was. Just somewhere hot, innit?
Yeah, just somewhere in the sun, yeah. Yeah.
But like, talk to me a little bit about like the process in like what happened with that.
Right, well, I got a DM in January saying like, hi, I work for ITV, like, would you be interested in going on Love Island? And I screenshot and I sent it to my family chat and I was like, literally, never in a million years. Like, that was the vibe. And then...
What was the vibe in the family chat?
Literally the same response as me, like, haha, yeah, right, vibes. Like, it was never like an option. And then they were like, look, would you just take a Zoom call and like have a conversation? I was like, you know what? There's no harm in a conversation. And then had this Zoom call with my mum, and I was very like, from the beginning, I don't know if I'm definitely gonna like, if I'm even interested in doing this, like, but you know, I'd love to like hear about it, let's just see. And then I just thought about it and I was like, you know what? Why not? Like, it doesn't have necessarily, I think, like you said, a few years ago, it was much more like explicit and it had this sort of stigma around it. I don't feel like the show has that anymore.
No.
You know, and I've been single for a year and a half now. And like...
You was in a big, long one before that.
Yeah, I was in basically a decade, a 9-year relationship, yeah. And if I'm being real with you, like, for like a year, I was like, yeah, red flags, I kind of want to date anybody serious, like, I don't know.
Twitter got you in it. Oh, I don't want to, this, I hate this type of man. It was all that.
What was that?
Did Twitter have you as well? I don't want to date no one because, you know, like when everyone starts posting these things online about how trash men are and whatever. Did you start getting into that bag?
No, it wasn't that bag at all. I was just like, right, my focus now is my career, like my music, you know, and I've never been on my own. I've been with someone since I was 15. I was like, I don't know who I am on my own. I was like, I want to be like, you know, I just want to be able to, what happens when things go wrong and I don't have someone to rely on? Do I push myself more? Do I sink into it? I wanted to learn that about myself. But also I wanted to like, you know, date and explore that and whatever. So that's where like my song Red Flag came about, where I was like, cool, I'll date guys with red flags and then I won't end up in a relationship. It low-key does work. It does work.
We did talk about this before.
It's a bit of a mess, but...
So wait, hold on, wait 1 second, yeah. Let's stick with this a little bit now. So like, what is the first red flag, or what type of red flag would attract you?
Would attract me. It's not necessarily that it would attract
Be
me.
honest now. Like, is it like, oh, you know what? He just seems like a gallus. Like, he's just...
Yeah, maybe something like that. Like, maybe somebody who's like, I know that, like, he's not boyfriend material.
Right.
You know? Like, so it could be something like that. There's red flags in, like, right, that actually really would put me off, like, dating somebody. But, like, in that situation, I was like, there's got to be some integral reason as to why this won't be a relationship. So, like, I didn't really know what the theory was, but it was like, you know, maybe just our lives don't align in that way, or like we're both busy with it. I don't know, just some reason why this can only...
Obviously that's not a red flag though, it's just like...
Yeah, but yeah, it kind of is a red flag if you were looking for a relationship. Because if you were looking for a relationship, your lives just don't align and it's never going to work as a relationship.
But is that a red flag?
Well, it depends what you want. Yeah, I think so. Like, say you're dating somebody and like for you, it's important to see that person 3 times a week, but they travel all the time. That could be like a red flag. Is like, I can't be with that person.
Right. I saw that as more as like, I just can't even be with that person. A red flag I see is more like...
a toxic trait.
You know, yeah. So like, you know, like...
They've got a girl.
You know what? She's homophobic.
Yeah, okay, fine. But then I wouldn't even really want to vibe with that person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I have to... The point is, like, I need to get along with this person. And, like, that's because I'm not really one that can do the casual thing. Like, no shade. Like, if I don't have something with somebody, there's nothing there for me. I don't get anything out of it.
Right.
So I need to have something there. But then I was like, you know, I just don't want anything super serious because I don't want to be distracted. But then I come to that to say, by the end of last year, I kind of started feeling like, oh, I kind of miss having someone,
yeah,
you know,
a cuddle,
yeah, like, you know what I mean, just a nice
just a canoodle and lips
and a handhold,
right?
And, do you know what I mean? Because I was, that's
and
the
this
other
one
thing.
as well, you know, like a little,
yeah, no,
I like that. Come on, did you ever do that one? There? Just like the little, you not the direct hand hold, but like you might just
a hand resting,
or even like, you know, like
a
just a. You know what I mean? Like, you just rub the leg next to the leg.
It's
like,
just
it doesn't even have to be...
Yeah,
I love all of it.
No, so do I. And that's the thing. 9 years of that, you know? I was with someone from 15. I was used to having, like, regular cuddles, regular everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
So, like,
yeah.
and it was like... It got
the
to
regular...
The And then it was like, well, I just missed that affection as well. So I was like, you know what? I wouldn't be opposed to meeting somebody now. Right. And it was like, people have found real love off that show. Let's not get it twisted. Molly and Tommy, Alex Bowen and Olivia. And there's
Molly and Tommy, yeah, they are still together.
They're still together. There's people there's quite a few couples.
There's one of them that got married, right? That was like the fourth.
Alex and Olivia. Yeah. There's more. There's Jamie and Camilla. Right. There's quite a few people.
It's funny how we never talk about that, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
people
I was literally saying, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, where I was just like making these predictions of who was going to be the first to make announcements on like these public announcements of who's splitting up or whatever, because that's what happens these days. Everyone makes these public announcements and that, yeah. But then I started thinking, like, that's the cynic in me. And I'm still going to be cynical, because sometimes cynical is fun, but I did think on the other side of that, we're actually not celebrating or even just bigging up the couples that actually made it through all of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and then obviously, like, let's not be, fake about it. It's a massive opportunity as well.
100,000,000%.
I don't think you should go on there if you don't want to meet somebody. There should be that element of being open to that. But, I've been, in this music game since I was a kid. Like, I signed a publishing deal when I was 14 and I was writing, and I thought, like, by now I'd be like Dua Lipa, like third world tour, living my best life. And if I'm being real with you, before, like, the beginning of this year, I'd hit a point where I was like, I'm broke. I've every single penny I've ever earned, I've put back into music. I've thankfully I live at home, so that's one thing that was off my chest. But my parents, who have always been supportive, were starting to look at me sideways, like, look, we love you and we support you, but you're 26. Is this gonna happen? You need to make some money. You need to, So I was kind of at a point where I was like, shit, man, this is my dream and it's not happened just yet, but I know I'm onto something with this music that I'm making now. And then this thing came along with Love Island, and I thought, well, you know what, I could go on this show, I'm going to catch a great tan, I might meet somebody amazing, and it's a platform that could help me, but I looked at people like Wes Nelson, who is a credible musician, just had a #1, put out a tune with French Montana. It doesn't mean that you have to live with some stigma of reality TV at all if you're good at what you do. And then I thought, I've got absolutely nothing to lose. Might as well go. And I wanted, if I'm being real, I obviously wanted to be there for longer than I was. But in hindsight, I don't think there was anyone for me. Right. So maybe it was better to keep it short and sweet and now just see what happens next.
Let me go back a little bit, yeah. That bit where you start getting to that point in life where you're working on a talent, yeah, and you're putting your all into it, but then there's like a mind trick where it's almost like, is it? You start really questioning it. Yeah. Like, am I making the right decision? Especially when you and this happened with me as well, is I'd look around and, this one who maybe studied a little bit or just had this job that they was with for a little while is progressing in their job and has a level of financial stability, and this one is doing that and whatnot.
And they're 5 years younger than me.
Yeah. And but just even sometimes even with the group that you have around you, that can make you start questioning things sometimes, isn't it? Where you start thinking, shit, like, I've been spending a lot of time doing this, and there's some promises early on or whatnot, and I'm not in the place that I thought I was going to be in. It does affect you for a bit.
It does. And you have to, at some point, what do? Do you keep going? Because, so many success stories, you look back at the back catalogue and it didn't happen overnight. There was so many downs before the up happened. So you think, do I keep going? But there is that your mind plays tricks on you. But for me, I know you knew that music, and it wasn't a question of I want to be a singer. It was I'm a singer. That's what I do. But I did get to a point where I was like, something needs to happen.
Yeah.
And the later singles I put out started picking up a little bit more, but it still wasn't enough. But
did you see when the Love Island thing happened though, or when it was about to happen?
Do I look alright, by the way? Because I'm sitting down in these.
Yeah, you're good. Did you question whether it was the right thing or not to do?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, massively. I was very torn. And then when I was in the process, because even though they approach you, it doesn't mean you're just in. They approach you and then you go through a bit of a interviewing process. And I thought, right, you know what? Let me just go through the process and I might not even get it. And then the decision's made for me.
Yeah.
And then And then I thought, if I do get it, then I can make the decision based on where I'm at. You know, maybe I'll feel like it's not right at that point or whatever. And then, you know, I ended up getting it, and I just thought, this is meant to be, because if it wasn't meant to be, I wouldn't have got it. You know what I mean? I very much have had this. Sometimes I would, before when things were going wrong, I would have this thing of like feeling sorry for myself a little bit. We all go through them phases where you're like, things keep going wrong, things keep going wrong. But then I got to a point, and I was like, I read this book actually called Creative Visualization. I'll bring you a copy, by someone called Chuckie. My mum gave it to me. And it's about like, you know, the secret, manifesting your life, blah, 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 blah. But it's also so much to do with your outlook. And I started to believe in, whether it's God or whether it's the universe, started to believe that like what's meant for me is gonna come to fruition as long as I keep my head down, I work hard. And one of my problems was I'm a bit of a control freak. Like I like things to be a certain way, I like things to be exactly how I want them to. And I read this chapter in the book that basically told me like I'm holding myself back because I want things to be so a certain way. Because there was this analogy about a riverbank, and it says like somebody who's not ready to trust the universe is like holding onto this riverbank, so scared to let go. And then finally you let go and you start going with the flow of the river and just trusting it's taking you in the right place. And once you've been in that state of mind for a while, you learn to then control yourself in the river and be able to like go with what life's given you. And then sometimes there'll be a riptide where you really want to go that way, but you'll go this way. And it's like having that faith. So like, since I've kind of had that sort of mindset a little bit more, I've felt a little bit more at peace with things going wrong. And when it came to like, is this the right decision? I thought, you know what? Yeah, it is, because it's come through. So let me just, I've been single for 1.5 years. I wouldn't have gone on it last summer because it would have been too soon after my breakup. I wouldn't have even done, do you know what I mean? Like, just out of respect for my ex, and I wouldn't have been ready. But yeah, definitely questioned it. But
yeah, because it's like, I guess this is like, we're coming into a part now with Love Island in particular where it's like those stigmas that people placed on it before ain't really there anymore. And do you know what? The reality is that like, I think that now most people do probably believe that the majority of people are going into Love Island not necessarily to meet someone, but to raise their profile. And if they meet someone, then it's great. Do you get what I'm saying?
Is there anything wrong with
and
that?
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's annoying, this narrative that some people have on like, oh, you're only there, because there's been a lot of, she's
no, but that's
only
cool
there
though.
to promote
Do you know
her
what
music.
it is?
It's like,
Tiggs,
no,
Tiggs, you know what it is, yeah? People weaponize everything.
Everything, you know.
Like you can say one sentence one way and say it another way, and it's just completely weaponized. You get what I'm saying?
For sure.
If you turn around and say, if someone turn around, you could easily turn around and say, you know what? I want to go on a reality show to lift my profile a bit. Do you get what I'm saying? I want it to help boost what it is that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then also in the process, if I get to, you know, like indulge in the festivities or like whatever it may be, then that's amazing. So you could say that in one way and be like, yeah, cool. But then you could also say, someone could say exactly the same thing and make it sound like a negative. Oh, but you only want to go on there to boost your profile.
Yeah.
And then just, you know, meeting someone is like secondary. No, well, like...
If you just want to meet someone, go to a bar or go on Hinge. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But it's the same as going to a club.
You know what? TV to meet someone.
But hear what though? If I want to go to a rave... If I want to go to a rave and have a good time and then end up meeting someone in the process, then it is what it is, isn't it?
Molly said, I went there as a business move and I happened to meet the love of my life. And nobody cares because she's doing her thing. Now it's like, there's nothing wrong with like, you know, as long as you're being... If you went in there and you were like, I don't want to meet somebody, I'm literally just here for that reason, then maybe that's a bit wrong because you're going on the wrong thing. You've got to at least be down for it. You've got to at least be open.
I'm also as a viewer, to be fair, I also am able to watch it and not believe the couple and be all right with that.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you know what? I hear it. You know, like, especially as well, when it starts to get to the... By the way, I'm going to just make this as a disclaimer as well, just on the benefit of you. In this episode, I am likely to say certain things, but they all coming from my mouth.
Yeah.
Okay? It has nothing to do with Antigoni. She hasn't given me... As of right now, she probably will do afterwards, giving me like the full lowdowns on a couple of things that happened at the reunion and whatnot. I do want to know about that still. But like, yeah, the things that I'm about to say in this episode is just my thoughts and feelings, yeah. And they're also just based upon what I'm seeing on TV. It's not so much a direct character assassination because I don't know them. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm just going by the edits and whatnot. So that is just a disclaimer. But anyway, yeah, I can identify sometimes, you know, like when it starts to get to like the last week and a bit of Love Island, and then they start doing the marriage thing, like, oh my God, I want to die, I want to be with this person for the rest. But you know what the thing is? I do get it because the sun's out, you're in a flipping villa, you've spent X amount of time together, and now you're probably at a part where like all the couples seem as though they're getting on with each other and whatnot, and you know, like you just overindulge in the lust of it. And guess what? I would as well. Yeah. Because you know what? I love it.
But also, it is a very, very unique situation of building even the friendships, because I made friendships in there that I will be friends with these people for a long time, and I was only there for just over a week. But imagine you have no phone, you have no distractions, you have nothing but one-on-one conversations with people. It's kind of incredible. So people do find these bonds that you don't have the distractions of social media, the outside world, a penga girl walking past while you're chirping this. Do you know what I mean? So as much as I do think there is definitely a play up to camera at some point, sometimes people do it, there is also a lot to believe in those moments, because imagine being there with somebody for 8 weeks.
Yeah,
it's a long time.
Yeah. With no distraction.
Yeah, and if they haven't given you the ick and you've been put off, like, chances are you're deep in it.
Yeah, facts. That's true, actually. That is true. How did you find the part of like being in not the villa but just the part, because you're a person, you love your phone, innit? And you love you love doing all that. So like, what was it actually like being in? Was it with just chaperone?
Yeah, in quarantine.
And just quarantine, just chilling, doing that.
First of all, it was like a banging villa. Like, couldn't complain. I was there for 2 weeks. It's like minimum 10 days. Ended up being 2 weeks. I loved it. Like up until the last couple of days, then I was like, right, let me get out of here now. Yeah. But only because like the first 5 days I still had my phone, so I was just getting on with work, speak to my family, all good. The next 5 days was bliss. I tanned, I read, I didn't, you know, the amount of times I went to pick up my phone and thought, God, I do not need, why am I picking up? There's no notification. And it showed me how much time I waste on my phone. And I was just training, and I actually really enjoyed that. It was like, I have this guilt as well. Like, I don't feel like I can stop until I'm like at the Grammys or something. Yeah. Even when I'm away on holiday or whatever, I'm always like, oh, where can I record a little cover, or where can I do something to boost my... do you know what I mean? I feel like... whereas I didn't have that guilt, because I had no choice but to just chill, eat ice creams, train, just vibe. So I enjoyed that. And then I thought after 10 days, I thought I was going in the next day, and they were like, oh, it's going to be another 4 days. And then those last 4 days, I was like, all right, I'm bored now.
Yeah.
I was listening to the pod a lot though, because we had like the Amazon Prime thing.
Oh, okay, yeah, so you can listen to that.
So I was actually listening, because I was doing a little walk around, I had my little Bluetooth speaker, and I was like, I'm doing like 300 steps a day because I'm not leaving this villa. Right. So I was like walking around the grounds of the villa to try and just get like 3,000 steps in or something.
I think it would be kind of interesting to, like, even on a deeper experimentation, to measure the heart rate. So like, you see when you're in the villa like that on your own, and you're just, and you like, you still have your phone, and you're doing X, Y, and Z. Measure the heart rate then. Then when you don't have it at all, and you're just in the nature, just doing whatever it is that you're doing, measure the heart rate then, and then measure the heart rate as soon as you log into Instagram.
Oh my God, yeah, when I got my phone back.
You know, it's mad, yeah? Like, I remember I was going through a whole bunch of madness during lockdown when my stepdad passing away or whatever. So I started to meditate, right? And I didn't even know how to do it. I just thought, I'll just sit there and just close my eyes or whatnot. So anyway, now, I just sit there, I just close my eyes, and then I would just try to just think about nothing,
Yeah.
And then I got to a point where I was almost just, I must have just been thinking about nothing. I just had my eyes closed or whatever. Then all of a sudden, my brain just starts thinking about pod, this, that, whatever. Straight away, I could actually feel my heart start beating mad again, like literally mad. It's like when you start tapping back into the matrix again, the heart just starts moving mad quick.
I find it really hard to meditate. Like I don't think I've even, the only time I feel like I can meditate is in the sea.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like, you know when you just like lie like a starfish,
Yeah.
and the water's just flat.
Yeah.
Then I can lie there, and I've laid there I think for like 10 minutes, and you know when your ears kind of block up,
Yeah.
and that's a time where I feel like I can meditate.
Right.
Other than that, I find it really hard to do what you said and shut out the noise. But from the moment I wake up, my brain is like brrrr, to the moment I go to sleep. It's like
100
it's
miles an hour.
frustrating. I think the phone's got a lot to do with it.
Yeah,
so
100%.
I enjoyed those days without it. But and I feel like it's something that like Ed Sheeran does. He's got no phone, does he?
No, he doesn't use. He just uses like
A little burner or something.
Yeah, and then he's got like I think an iPad that he uses every once in a while to like respond to messages and whatever else. But yeah, but anyway, I see you walk in.
What did you think? Did you think it was a good thing for me to do?
Do you know what? When I first heard that you was going in, it was a shock to me. Yeah, but I don't know.
Close to telling you as well.
Yeah, I don't know what the shock was. I think the shock primarily was just because like, Rob, watch this thing.
Yeah.
And obviously we talk a lot now.
Yeah.
And then it was like, Ra, is that why, you know, those bare things in it?
Yeah.
But then I started thinking, okay, cool, like, how can this help or hinder you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was having like a little moment where I was thinking about the different ways that it could hinder you.
Yeah.
You know, if you go in there and you say something super ignorant, or you go in there, you're just having like a mad arguments with people or whatever, even though I thought, nah, you know what? If anyone can see anything like what I can see, then I think you'll go in there and you'll have a decent time.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, I just was more looking at like what happens when there's an argument and how does that play out and what does that do for the way that people see you. Yeah. Because I think sometimes as well, like with these things, something happens and then they continue to that and you're associated to that for a long time.
Yeah.
However, with that being said, I thought, and I remember speaking to my brethren about it, I was like, you know what? She's going to come out and she's going to have a bigger following and she is going to be able to use that to capitalize on whatever it is that she's doing. We just have to just see how it plans out. And you know what? I think, honestly, and I know it's probably easy for me to say, and we spoke about this privately and whatnot, but I thought that the fact that you was only in there for that short period of time and that you left that impression in that period of time was perfect. I swear to you. I feel like it was perfect because
the butter melted perfectly.
The butter melted perfectly for you because you know what? As I said to you before, what worked well for you is that you wasn't taken for a dickhead. Yeah. You didn't say anything ignorant. You wasn't associated to a man, even though when you came out, you left at the same time as Charlie. So you're doing interviews with Charlie or whatever. No one's associating you to a couple. You're not a couple, and no one is associating you to a man.
Yeah.
When they see you, they're not expecting to see a guy. And all of that type of stuff. And also, like on an intricate one, I just kind of like the fact that it was like, boom, you went there, you shooted a shot. It didn't so much work out like that. He's obviously gone and done what he needed to do, which I respected him for doing because he felt like Jay.
Oh, right.
Yeah, where he was like, oh, you know what? I've been here for time.
Yeah.
I've been attracted to Paige and everyone's kind of kept me away from her. Let me explore that a little piece. Even though I know that ruffled some feathers or whatnot, he went with what he felt he needed to do. But I loved that when it didn't work out, you wasn't really on this thing of, I need a couple, I need a man to stay in here. Let me just grovel this one up and try and... You was on a... You know what? I'm just not even really trying to do the second best thing like that.
No,
and from then I said, that's my Jenna. Yeah? If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
I wasn't closed, but I was like, this isn't just going to be an automatic list.
Yeah, like what? I'm just going to now, because it didn't work out and whatnot, all of a sudden I'm just going to fully indulge in all of that. I thought, nah, like you played that well and it just didn't work out. But other than that, there was like, what was it? One bit with, who did you have a thing with?
The thing with Danica and India coming over, which was so annoying because that was a bad edit. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, you know what as well. So this is the first time. Sorry, I'm like looking at what people are saying about you and whatnot, innit? Yeah, and I'm like, oh yeah, like it's good, it's positive and whatnot. And then this happened, and then it turned a tad bit, and it was difficult a little bit to see that.
Yeah, and it was frustrating because it was, listen, it's TV, they're going to make it look a certain way, but in that moment, like, I wasn't too worried after, because I was like, India and Danica I was mad cool with, so I was like, I know once they come out everyone will see that it's not a problem, like, but it was annoying because it looked bad, because they came over and we were just having the other three girls had pulled me to the side. They'd seen that I was like a little bit kind of upset, because to be honest with you, if I was upset at anybody, I think I was just upset overall, because I was like, why was I not getting to choose?
Yeah, what was the context? What was the context again?
It was a recoupling. The
Right.
girls were choosing,
Right.
and I didn't get to choose. Basically, I was lost.
Yeah, I thought that was mad.
Yeah, and I was the new person. Do you know what I mean? So ordinarily, when
You're
you're
supposed
new,
to
you
pick
pick
first.
or you're exempt from a vote. You
Yeah.
get something. So I think I was a bit annoyed in that situation, and Paige politely said, I don't care if people want to say it's bitchy, she's not a bitchy girl at all. She politely said, girls, can we just have a minute and then we'll all catch up together? And I think if that moment was left at that, it wouldn't have been that bad. But then they cut to a clip of me going, love you girls.
Yeah.
That clip was not in chronological order. That I love you girls was like 10 minutes later in the conversation about a different thing, and they'd said something nice, whatever, and then afterwards I said, oh, I love you girls, like, thank you, whatever.
Yeah, because in the edit it looked like he was on some girl power separatism.
Yeah, it looked
thing.
like Paige went, can we just have a minute? And I go, ha ha ha, love you girls, which is just not my vibe at all. I would never do that. And it was just like, actually, I think it would have looked more bitchy if they'd just come and sat down and we just changed the conversation, as if that wasn't, it was like, hold on, let's just digest. And then the moment that I like had a chat, whatever, the first thing I went and did was go and get Danica. And then I said to her, listen, you know what? I weren't even mad at you. I wasn't.
That's what I like. That's why, again, when I was chatting to my brethren as well, yeah, I said, see, like, I'm glad that they showed that part, because...
Yeah, but even that came across bad to some people.
Why?
Because they were trying to say, oh, well, you were just bitching, and now to her face you're being nice. And it was like, I wasn't bitching. And that...
But wait. See
what I mean?
You know what,
Like,
though? Sometimes people watch this, and maybe I'm doing the same thing. And I know that it maybe come across as a level of biasness, but I don't think it is. I feel like if you was moving mad, I'd have just told you.
Yeah, you would.
And you know what? If that was the case, I wouldn't even have a conversation. Maybe I wouldn't even sit you on the couch and just do a mad thing. But for me, the way that I saw it was, I did see from the edit, the separatism kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what I did see was, I didn't see you bitching about them. I just saw that there was like, obviously you'd felt some type of way about that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then you've got up to let her know, yo, this wasn't even really so much about you or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just was what it was, and you just cleared that. And for me, again, it just made me respect you, because I'm like, yeah, like you handled that in the way that I felt like you're supposed to handle that. You didn't make her feel as though there was like some mad problem or
No,
whatnot.
exactly, I didn't.
And naturally as well, which some people do forget, yeah, is that in life, when things happen, there's what you call the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
The heat of the moment means that when something happens, you feel emotional towards whatever it is.
Yeah.
Then you react a certain way sometimes emotionally. Once that simmers down, the character of the person is then who you are after that.
Yeah.
Right, you know what? It all simmered down. This is how I saw it.
Yeah.
It simmered down. Let me go and talk to my girl. Let her know. Boom, this is what
Exactly.
the thing is. And then that was it. You just moved on.
Yeah, and it was like, listen, if anything, I'm just more annoyed at the situation, not so much at you. It was just like, you know, but honestly, again, like I don't even want to relive that stuff, because it's just like, it's not that deep.
Yeah,
It's just not that deep. I just think...
I see her at your party skinning out anyway.
Yeah, no, listen, this is the thing why I wasn't even bothered, because I was like, I know that, like, when I saw that was the thing online, I was like, India, like, I spent she was like one of my closest friends in there, and me and Danica as well, because we were both the single girls, so like we naturally had like a lot of like gravitational time together. She's a lovely, like, vibrant, beautiful girl. Like, I don't have anything against her, and actually, you know, she did what she needed to do to stay in, and I rate it. I rate it.
Like, what was the difficult thing about being in there?
For me, it was not having like my best friends and my mum and my sister talk to. Like, your emotions in there are really high. It's really weird. Like, you're cut off from everyone you know and love. You've got like this pressure that is like, do I need to do this? And it's very, very weird. I'm the kind of person that calls my sister to be like, hi, I'm in an Italian restaurant, do you think I should get a pizza or pasta?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I bounce my stuff off my people. So being very like, you know, it was definitely a lot of growing. I found that hard. And I found it hard just not, just being very out of control. You know, you're told when to get up.
Did you get a lonely moment in there?
Yeah, I got quite a few.
Tell me about one of them.
I just felt like there was a moment like when I was in there and I was like, rah, no one's actually feeling me.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Interesting.
And it's like, but then, you know, I try and rationalise it and be like, you know, I'm in a space with like 8 other people. What's the chances of going to a club and meeting one person you fancy?
Right.
Like, say there's 8 people. I could be in a room with 8 people.
Right.
Chances of me liking one of those people is not always the case. But when you're in that space and you feel like there's this pressure and like, you know, it does like, it's going to get to you a little bit. You're a bit like,
Did you feel just for one small moment, like, is my attraction levels not really up like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did feel like that for a second. And like, you know what I mean? I like, it was not the nicest feeling. But then I rationalised it. I was like, this is just a you know, whatever situation. Because, it did feel a little bit like, it's just a weird one.
Yeah.
But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Right.
And if I'm being real,
for guys, I know that there's obviously moments when, like, especially in Love Island, like, a guy would feel very kind of lonely because there's like couples and whatever. But I think a lot of the time as well, like, enough man can just go outside and just, no matter how much of a good looking guy you are, you just might not even just get.
Yeah, you just shoot a shot.
But usually with women, if you're an attractive woman, no matter where you go, more time, even if it's unwanted, there's someone there that is like really trying to whatever.
Yeah.
But when you're in a villa and you actually have a moment now, because it's not necessarily a full representation of like everyday life.
Yeah.
So you're in there now, and then you have a moment where it's like a few days where like, but no one's trying to chat to me.
And the thing is, like, but then I had to like check myself because if I was being real, there wasn't really like for me that like direct connection where I was like, oh my god, I really like this person,
right,
and they don't like me. I think if it was like that, then I think it would have hurt a little bit more.
Yeah.
But you know, I was trying to be open, so like there was a couple of situations I was like, yeah, okay, cool. If it goes the right way, maybe there could be something there. But really, I'm looking for that instant thing with somebody, and I can't really. Anyone that
Have you ever grown to like a man?
It's happened once that there was like someone who was a friend that I then looked at sideways once and was like, oh, actually, I even told you about this.
Do you want to tell me about it again without saying the name?
Yeah, it was someone who was a friend, and this is the first time in my life that I like had to actually move to someone.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember I told you this situation? Because I was like, we're so deep in the friend zone here that like he thinks it's a friend zone thing too. That I was like, the only way that like I'll be able to see if it's a thing is I'm gonna have to like move to him.
I love that though. And then what happened? Would you never do that again? Because of what happened with that?
I don't know.
I think don't let one situation.
Yeah, I wouldn't let one situation. I mean, that was just a bit like of a weird one because at the time.
What did you say?
Why are you putting me on the spot?
Come on, this is the pod.
We was just chilling, and then it was like, you know, when you're trying, because I'm quite a flirty person anyway. So I think do you know what I mean? I flirt with the waitress, or I flirt with my friends. I think my character's quite flirty.
Yeah.
So when I was like, cool, let me try and give this guy like the vibes a bit, I just think he just thought I should just be an Antigoni. Right, I don't think I was like, he's not seeing the difference here.
Yeah. He's not seeing like the switch has flicked now.
I think we even saw you that night. Do you remember? And you clocked on. Yeah. You said to me, is there a little vibe there? Because you clocked my body language or whatever. Yeah. But he didn't. So anyway, we were chilling now till like late, and it was like, okay, let's say goodbye now kind of thing. And you
know you do that thing now where like I'm not saying you did or didn't, but I'm just saying, you know that hug, yeah? You see when you hug everyone, most people cannot know what I'm talking about. So you hug someone and then you come up slow because you're trying to assess. Wait, what? Are you gonna maneuver?
And I've never been on.
You're thinking, is the head gonna go like that? And you're gonna do that like with the neck. You know when you come like that? But sometimes you can do that and then like the person will just come back quick and you're like, oh, right, cool. Or they come back and you're like...
See, but I've never been that person.
Did you do the lick of the lips as well?
The
The quick lick of the lips?
The R&B music video.
Yeah, lick of the lips. I'm not lipsing up no girl with dry lips. Like my lips are dry.
No,
yeah, go on,
yeah,
anyway.
I've always been on the receiving end of that situation, but I was like, I was like, you know what, fuck it. It's either someone else. So kind of had that thing, and then we just kind of,
yeah.
I just kind of lip sipped.
Yeah.
And like, and his reaction was like, what? Like, swear, like I never thought like this was on the table for us. Like his reaction was what I would have wanted it to be. It was very like, oh, like, you know, he said, you know, like, I think you're beautiful. Obviously, I've thought about this. I just didn't think that was a. So then I was like, okay, cool. I didn't even really know what I wanted from it. It was one of them ones where like, in my head I was like, I don't know if this is like just a friendship thing or if there's something more there, and the solution to that is you need to lip someone to find out.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, so then I was like,
but it does give you a false sense of like wanting to, because sometimes you can lip someone and the lips is just a vibes.
Yeah.
And then you just want to just, you understand?
And sometimes you just lip someone and it's like, have you ever had it where you really are attracted to somebody and like you think it's gonna be that, and then you get with them and then you're like, oh my God, I'll
tell you about a time. One time, yeah.
That's the worst.
I met this girl or whatnot, and I was so attracted to this girl. Anyway, yeah, cut a long story short, anyway, we started getting to the lips in, yeah. And it was almost like her tongue went into a fist. Oh. And it started going like, in my mouth.
Oh my God, I've had that before.
I was like, whoa, I'm holding her face, I'm lipsing her, and I'm just like, I'm doing all that. I'm
fighting
like,
you.
Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, this is nuts. Nah. Like, it's turned into a battle. Like, I kind of low-key wanted to do it back. I'm like, you try to bully, man. You know what I'm saying? I started turning my tongue back and just started licking it back. And then before I know, it's like, what is this domestic abuse?
Are
we like tongue fighting?
I'm so dead.
But she beat me up in that still. But I didn't like it. But then like, yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to the one where you're friends with someone and then there's like something that sort of changes in it.
Yeah, so it was like that, and then it was like, okay, all right, no, it was not a pressure thing. So I didn't even really know what I wanted from it. It was like, okay, cool, we've just crossed this line now. Let's just see what happens. And then he ghosted me.
Oh, we're gonna talk about ghosting later.
Yeah, then literally, and this is like my friend. Like, this is my friend, and it, honestly, that hurt me because I felt like this guy really knows me.
Right.
You know, like when you know. When you're dating, to an extent, at first, you're putting your best foot forward. Everyone does naturally. Right. Whereas, because with this person, it was a friendship, I'd just been myself from the, like, not that I'm not myself, but you know what I mean? It was like, I talked to him about guys, he knew my crazy. He knew my, like, weirdness. It was very, like, the layers were already undone. So, and he also knew what, like, ghost, like, that, for me, I'm a communicator. Right. So anyway, so that put me off, like, moving to somebody.
Yeah.
But how do we get here? Because I feel like there was an initial
We were talking
point.
about moving to someone in the. I don't know about.
You asked if she would be against it in the future.
No, before that. Do you know what? I can't even remember, but I'll bring it back anyway.
Yeah, because there was an original point.
There was a point to that still. Well, I'll tie it back. But yeah, no, I hear you though. Like, yeah, and like I know that sometimes that can really put. I know how we got there. I was talking about a man can be in an environment usually where even though he's a gallus or whatnot, sometimes it just might not be anything.
Yeah.
But whereas like in the villa, even though a man in the villa might have the lonely moments, it's like, yeah, shit, that can kind of happen. Whereas for a woman, it's like to be out every day and it's just such a natural thing for people to just, even if it's the attention that you don't want, to be in an environment where it doesn't happen it's not happening now.
At once, yeah.
Yeah. Like you've also gone in as well where you've gone in.
People are in set couples as well at this point. Yeah. And my thing was never going to be to try and like break up a couple, because in my head it's like, if they're going to break up, they're going to break up, and that's not going to be because of me.
Yeah.
Like if I went in there and had a mad connection with somebody that was in a couple, that would have been on them as such, and then that means that wasn't right. I wasn't going in there with the vibe of, right, let me try and, could you be happier vibes. But the point was the instant attraction thing.
Right.
Because has it ever grown before? And I was like, only once. Other than that,
oh yeah, that's it.
Other than that, every person that I've ever like ended up liking, or like, and actually I've almost liked them at first sight. Like, as in like, I don't even love at first sight, but it's like the moment I meet them, I'm like, yeah.
That shit changes though sometimes depending on the person. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Law of averages is probably that. And I do think it's kind of interesting when it does change. Like when you start realising, wait, hold on, is there something on the menu here? You know, I remember...
Have you had that a lot?
I've had that a couple of times, actually.
I remember the story on the in the car.
Right.
Where she put her hand on the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for people who don't know, there was like someone I was really cool with for ages. And bearing in mind, I'd met her on the premise of me finding her attractive.
Right.
But it was just that, like, she had... dated someone that I'd known like years ago, and then when I was on this holiday, because I'd met her on a holiday, someone that I knew had a thing with her. Yeah. So from then I was just like, oh well, do you know what? My brethren's caught her, whatever, fine. And he's a looker. Do you get what I'm saying? He's
You're
a looker,
Chuckie.
Yeah, nah, but you know what? I just didn't like.
You just felt like I wasn't there.
Yeah. Right. So. He had her, whatever. And then we just ended up just being mad cool. Just proper cool. She'd come to the things that I was doing, whatever. Boom, 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 boom. And then like some years went by, we'd just meet, get food. And then, yeah, I'll never forget, like, one day, I'm driving my car, I'm dropping her to the train station or whatever, and then she put her hand, I had my hand on my gear stick, and she then put her hand on top of my hand. And I thought, yeah? And then, like, the dynamics of that sort of changed. Like, it just changed. And it was fun, but I just wasn't ready. I wasn't, like...
You weren't ready for that.
I wasn't ready for it, and I wasn't in a good space in life.
So
and do you know what? It made it worse. The fact that I wasn't in a good space in my life made this whole dynamic even worse, because I just remember thinking, I have a really, really attractive girl that is into me, that I was into as well, and like any other time in life, I thought anyway, I would just be like so tunnel vision.
What was the reason you weren't?
It was just like, I was just going through a lot of things, like financial problems.
That's an interesting thing I want to ask you about, actually.
Yeah, I was going through financial issues. I was contemplating, am I doing the right thing in my career and that? Like, I just wasn't excelling. Every year, I had this point where like every year was just sick. Was sick. And then I had like, it just dipped. And then that just became a very, very big problem. Point. Yeah, like
so
for me.
That was my question with men, or with women, I guess, as well. But like, do you believe in that whole right person, wrong time thing? Because I had this debate with a friend of mine, and it was like, at the end of the day, no matter what the circumstance is, if the feelings are strong enough and you really fuck with the person, it doesn't matter what it is, you'll make it work. But what's interesting, and I think you spoke about this before, but I'd be interested to actually ask you to your face, like, what is that such a thing, like, right, I'm broke right now, or this isn't the right situation, whatever, and you could actually, you genuinely really do fuck with that person, but it's just not the right timing?
So yeah, I do believe that, but I also have a different take on it too. Okay. So I do believe that even when it is the right person and it feels like the wrong time is more about what's happening in your mind more than anything. Because if it is the right person, if it truly is the right person, then you know what? All of the things that you're going through, the right person will be able to help you to go through that. Will alleviate that. Exactly. However, from a man's point of view, I think it's easier to deal with that when we've already had a big rapport.
Right.
So if I'm like, if I've got something with a woman, and you know what, like, maybe I'm not up, it's just normal, everything's cool, we're just having a great time together or whatever, we've built a rapport, we've done things together and whatnot, then all of a sudden now I'm going through this dip, I can confide in her with that, and you know what I mean, and like, even though I might feel inadequate because she might be up and I'm not there, like, you know, we've built something and there's a level of trust, and also now I can allow myself to be vulnerable with you. However, with most men, when they feel inadequate and they meet someone that is the right person, it almost makes it feel worse. Because you're like, I feel inadequate in this situation and I don't even want to be vulnerable enough to tell you that. I don't want to show you that. I hear that. So, you know what? It is the right person, but I have to just pattern up in whichever way I need to pattern up.
And if it comes back around,
it comes back around. It comes back around. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And so most times it doesn't. And then you do start thinking when you're up, like, rah, shit, like, I wonder what that would have been like. But by then it's just too late.
Or it's not. Or it's not.
Yeah.
Or it's the thing where, like, at that point you end up reconnecting then.
Yeah.
Because that,
Remember, that's the thing for us more so, is we're so hell bent on on providing or being able to do things. So it's like, in that situation with that girl in particular, it's like, she's broke too at that point.
Yeah.
She's broke too. But it's different when I'm saying, you know what, right now I'm just trying to, like, I got money, but I'm just trying to just be careful. Like, I spent a lot of money on takeaways and whatever. Babes, let's just cook. Let's just do whatever. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But you see when we can't.
Yeah.
You see when the option's taken away.
I hear you.
You see when, like, I actually just can't even go Nando's.
Yeah,
with
I can't. Yeah. And it's just
I'd
not
rather just
nice.
not
for you.
even-
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It is an interesting one, because then you think if you're like, wow, like that feeling where you really like somebody, none of that would really matter.
No, but that is also, it also is dependent on how a person is wired. So for example, again, it's like, I get it. Like, if you wanted to be, let's just say, for example, there's like something that you're looking at that you aspire to be. Yeah. If you really, really, really want it, you will find a way to get it in some way, shape or form. You just will do that. Yeah. Because you proper aspire to want this thing. But I do think that, like, sometimes, maybe with some men, they might meet someone and they're just not in the positions that they would like to be in. But because they like someone so much, that might even inspire them even more to want to go and, you know, but not everyone's wired like that. Sometimes some people can be demotivated at the prospect of that, because it's like, they might have even self-belief issues that are bigger than the woman and bigger than this moment. That moment could have been, the self-belief issues could stem from school or like being a child, and that there's like a trigger in there. Like, what type of person are you? What type of characteristic do you have? Like, that is going to help you push through it. And not everyone has it. And sometimes you have to go through it to understand it, to then know that when you go through it again, this is how I can maneuver. But when you're asking young men to do that haven't experienced it before, they're going through a feeling that they don't even understand. And add to the fact that, like, I'm not even supposed to have feelings. I'm not even really supposed. That's the thought, innit? Like, I'm not supposed to be feeling this way. It's all a mind fuck. Do you get what I'm saying?
Definitely. And do you believe that, though, like, that if you really, in life in general, outside of relationships now, if you really want something, you can get it, anything?
What do you mean?
You just said before, you were like, if you really want something, you'll do what it takes to get it.
Yeah.
Do you believe that, like, in life? Like, do you think, like, there's limits? Do you think anybody can achieve anything they want?
No,
I
don't. I don't think everything is for. I don't think it's for everyone.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that, like, I think I was having this conversation with Koi. Is that, like, we never know. We never truly know what we're doing is right or even the right thing for us. Do you get what I'm saying? All we can do is try our utmost best and be, not even just work hard, because I don't even really like that one. Just try and work as smart as possible.
As you can,
yeah. And then listen to what is around us, because sometimes, I remember you was mentioning before about, like, about the river, going down the river or whatever. I always use the example of, like, going down a road. It's like, sometimes I'm going down this road and there's, like, a left turning I just wasn't even expecting. Right, do you know what? Let me just have a quick look. I have a quick look and I'm like, oh shit, this is for me. Let me just keep going down this one a little bit. Or I might bust a little turn and think, do you know what? This isn't even so much for me. I'm going to keep going back on the road that I'm going on. But I say all of that to say that, like, you bust that turning that is for you. You didn't even realise it was for you. And then your life can flourish in so many different ways.
The butterfly effect. Like, sometimes I look back at certain things, you think, God, if I didn't go there that night and meet that person who introduced me to that person who I then got in the studio with, and then we wrote this, like, it's mad, like, how when you say something amazing happens and then you trace back the steps on how that thing came to fruition, sometimes it's the most random thing.
100%. But also, like, sometimes, why do you want it?
That's a good question. What do you want and why do you want it, Chuckie? You go first.
What do I want?
What do you want? Okay, what do you want in your life? Like, I know this is such
this isn't about me. I know you're trying to do the smart thing, because you know this is where I was going to you, right?
No, I'll answer it too.
Okay.
I'll answer it too. I'm just, saying, for you, like, it's interesting. What is your, like, someone says to you, right, you're going to look back at your life. What is it that you would have wanted? and why?
Do you know what the thing that I want the most, is to be able to make the most fulfilling and impactful content that I can make. Do you get what I'm saying? Whatever that looks like. Any, like, even with, you know, when Vice stuff, like when they come to me, we're talking, like, my thing is about, like, what I want to do something impactful. Like, I don't want to just do stuff for the sake of doing it. It's not fulfilling. I don't care how much views something gets. It's just not even fulfilling for me. And I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to do that, but also be able to just keep my mind in a place where it is like forever learning. For me, that is like, that's the big win for me. To be able to be comfortable in life with learning and doing things impactfully, like, that is the most important thing. Before, it used to be money. It used to be my my success that I used to judge upon myself was based upon how much money I could make and what I could make money wise. But it's not even about that anymore.
No.
What about you?
That's the ambition side of it. What about personal life?
Personal life?
Yeah.
Again, this is an interesting one, you know. You know, like, I would love to have a family,
Yeah.
And sometimes I see, like, I look at my best friend and I look at his family and I'm like, oh yeah, I'd love to have this. Like, I would love to have it. And I don't know if this is the right mentality to have, but sometimes I do think to myself, like, although I strive to have it, if I don't have it, I feel like I'm accepting of the fact that, like, it might not be my story. So it's like, if I don't, as much as I would love to have a child, I would love to have children. Trust me, I would love to have children. But I'm also at a point where it's like, do you know what? If it, for whatever reason, doesn't happen, it's okay. It just wasn't my story. I don't want to, like, get into this thing of, I don't want to get into this thing of, like, I need to, I have to, I need to, I have to. Because then when I get to a certain stage in my life, if it doesn't happen, how is it going to affect me? And it's exactly the same thing that happened when I did turn 30. When I was when I was turning 30, I looked and I said, bro, hold on 1 second. I'm not a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
I'm not a flipping, I don't have a million. Yeah, I'm not a multi-millionaire. I don't have a castle and I'm not driving a Ferrari. Those were the things that I put as success.
Yeah. Like 25 sitting on 25 mil.
Yeah, I didn't have that. And then I was, for a strong moment, I was like, nah.
What do I do? Yeah.
I've almost failed, innit? But that's not, those tangible things, those things there are not like.
No.
Yeah. But what about you, God?
Like, I guess it starts at the same point in terms of fulfillment. I want to wake up in my days and feel fulfilled. Like, and feel like I'm doing something that gives me a purpose. You know, if money comes along with that, great, because I think money gives you liberty. But for me, honestly, ever since I was a little kid, like, going to shows, you know that moment when you're in a show and everyone sings along to the song? Like, there's always that one song and you can't even hear the artist anymore. And more time the artist just stops. That would bring tears to my eyes and give me goosebumps. And that's something that I just, from when I was a kid, that's what I've just wanted, is to, like, write songs and perform them and, you know, make music that, like, people relate to, like, some, you know, whether it's a light topic, whether it's something deeper, it's like that, I feel that. So for me, I want to get to a point where, like, I can just travel and perform and, like, take my music as far as possible, because genuinely, like, it's the thing that just makes me happy. You know, I was in the studio yesterday, wrote 2 bangers last week, and we're finishing them, and there was just a moment where we, like, wrote the second verse. I just turned to Connor, who's, like, my manager, but also, like, we write together, and I was like, oh, I love writing music.
I'm glad that when you came out that you got straight back to that, because I thought that you might have just come out, indulged in everything that they're putting you left, right and centre and whatnot, and then you'll push that to the back burner and then just go back to it when you just feel like it.
Yeah, no, like, never. It's always my priority. It's the thing that, like, I'm not going to get fulfillment from just, like, straight up, you know, doing a brand thing. And I want to do the brand things, but I'd like to work with brands that I, like, genuinely fuck with. So, and also that are just aligned to me as a person and as an artist and whatever. So that's, like, on that side of it. I want, like, you know, there's no rooftop for me. I want as much as I can get from that music world. Like, that's my dream. I'm not going to undersell it and, like, my mum's like somebody I always look to, because my mum was a school teacher at Lee Valley Primary School in Tottenham till she was 30, you know, and then she said, I want to do something else, and you know, she wrote a TV show and took it to 200 production companies and got no. In the end, ran out of production companies in London, found one in Birmingham that wanted to do it, and ended up doing it on the Discovery Channel and did her series. And that's something that makes me think there's no time limit and there's no rules. To an extent, obviously, people are in different situations and whatever, but you can go for what you want and have the chance to achieve it. So on a what's the word? Career side, that's that. And also that's fulfillment. And then on a personal thing, like for me, a family is like definitely my story. Like I want to be so in love. I want to have like 5 kids. You know, like that's I want to have 5 kids. I want them to all have 5 kids and have bare grandkids. Their great grandkids. That's how you achieve immortality.
Yeah, I hear that.
Through either what you leave behind with your content and with your career and what you do, or with the people that you leave behind.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Disney movie Coco?
No.
You should watch it. Just because it's about Mexican Day of the Dead thing.
Yeah.
And it's like your spirit lives in the story. It's your spirit lives on forever as long as your relatives put a picture up of you on this day.
Right.
Once you get forgotten, that's when your spirit gets forgotten.
Oh man.
But it's really. I was crying.
That's
it's
quite
really
deep
good.
still.
No, it's Disney is not playing.
Yeah, Disney do some deep ones here and there. Kids will be able to watch it and just enjoy it, but adults will be able to watch it and take something mad different from it still.
For sure. But yeah, I feel ultimately I want to feel fulfilled in all aspects of life. I feel like as women in particular, there's almost this thing that you have to choose, like to be a stay-at-home mum with a family and whatever, or to be the career woman. And it's like I'd like to at some point be at a point where I feel like, wow, I managed to do both.
Yeah.
So far I'm single and I'm not blown yet. So, but you know, on the way.
Soon come. I just wanted to quickly just talk on some Love Island bits before I move off it quickly. Yeah. Obviously, watching it was mad interesting to me. I'll be honest with you. I would have loved to have seen Gemma and Luca tested more. I was dying for that. I was just dying to see that tested more. I really took a big liking to Gemma. Can't even lie.
Yeah, Gemma's a G.
I did at certain points feel like she was a big woman for Luca. I can't even lie. I'm like, when I'm watching some of the edits, but when I'm watching some of them, yeah, I'm like, the way that this lady is handling herself is just really
immaculate.
Yeah, like
immaculate.
Proper.
Gemma is honestly such a sick girl.
Yeah, her emotional intelligence just seems flipping incredible for someone of that age.
No, regardless of someone of that age, yeah, even more so because of that age. But even if she was 27 years old,
yeah, that's true.
Her emotional intelligence and maturity is crazy, and she's just so real and straight. She doesn't take any shit. Very, you know, one thing you didn't see as much as how funny she is. She's really funny. She's got a really vibrant character. Right. You know, she's got a bit of a dirty mouth sometimes, like in the best way. Right. You didn't see that side of it as much. But yeah, she's a sick girl. You know.
Yeah, I just thought she was good. I thought she was good. I think as well, like.
But she definitely liked Luca a lot, by the way, because I know a lot of people did feel like, oh, it was one-sided. But when you were in there, it definitely did feel like they like each other a lot.
Do you know what it was? Yeah, I think at first it did seem like that a little bit. But then also I could tell that she this is the way that I saw it. Yeah, at one point it seemed one-sided. Then it seemed like she proper likes him. Yeah. But I did think for a minute he's gonna overly passionately overcook this thing too much that it's gonna put her off. Yeah, that's the way that it seemed. Yeah, and also like.
It just could have gone that way, but
it could have. Yeah. There's even just like some of the things that he was saying. I get it. I get that like. Because there was a next part where I started to think, you know what? Maybe what it is, and I'm bearing in mind, I'm just going by the edits, yeah? Maybe what it is that like, because she seems so chill, maybe it's giving him just this small little bit of insecurity where he just wants her to just show her that she's really into him, but in a different type of way. Yeah. And the thing is, you can't expect someone to be someone that they're not. You know what I mean? Otherwise it just doesn't become genuine. Yeah. But you know, like sometimes, you know, like you might meet a woman who comes across a bit more like the tough cookie, who is a little bit, and she's inside she's bursting with love. And she wants to, like, there's just all of this stuff, but in the way that she talks and the way that she is and her body language and whatnot, just seems like she's just cool. She's just on her team. You get what I'm saying?
She's almost, I could take some tips from Gemma. We approach situations in kind of an opposite way, but one's not right or wrong. I'll go into, because me and her had this discussion, because she said, did you notice when you first came in I didn't say too much? Because she's the kind of person, what she'll do, she won't give you too much. She'll just sit back and observe and listen, and then make her judgment, and then decide how much of you she's going to give to you, herself she's going to give to you, which is a very clever and mature and level-headed way of manoeuvring life. Whereas I'm like, I'll come in with 100% and give everyone all my energy, and then if I start to see, I don't like this character trait, I'll pull that back, and then it will shift. Don't think one's right or wrong, but I could definitely take a few notes from Gemma. Sometimes I feel like I just give too much energy and like friendliness or whatever to people who like actually didn't deserve it. Yeah,
and also not everyone has your best interest at heart. But I did, for a moment as well, I just thought, you know what, maybe if he's not careful, he's gonna. This is one of the reasons.
She even said it herself, though, didn't she?
This is one of the reasons why I like watching Love Island, by the way. Even taking them out of it, each scenario actually has a real life thing to it. Because definitely. That is, whether that is an edit or whether that is actually the real thing, that happens. Sometimes you can overcook something so much that at a point they're like, you know what, I actually proper did like you, but now I can't
you're ruining
even. You just exactly. Like, do you know what? Sometimes just ease up a little piece, but also though, sometimes just give a little bit more. You understand what I'm saying? Just give me a tiny bit, because I'm a guy doesn't mean that I don't want to be
that reassurance.
Yeah, like give me some of it.
As women, sometimes there is a thing of that.
Sometimes, you know what? Like, I think. I don't know actually. I'm just saying this now. This is just how I feel, and I could be wrong in saying this. But sometimes I do think that women misunderstand how much like a sentence can put a extra bounce in a man's step. You know that?
What, like you just got a trim today? Yeah, you're looking.
But not even like. Oh, do you know what? Not even that. Forget that. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm like what you did there. Like, I really respect that, and I'm really proud of you that you did that. What? I might just kick back and say, thanks, babes. Yeah, like, and just carry on talking about it, whatever.
But you see,
when I come off the phone, the extra bounce in my step. Loud,
but only from the right person, though.
Right? Of course.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just on the Gemma and Luca thing, like I remember early on in the series when I was watching it in my quarantine, there was one point where like he didn't bring her a coffee one day, and she was like, "I like that."
Yeah.
You know, things like that. Yeah. But I think they had their balance as it went on. She was definitely really tactile with him and stuff. But the thing. You
know what you have to be careful with? I'll tell you what you got to be careful with, and what I say as well. Yeah, is that I've been guilty of this in the past myself. When someone does something, and your response to that, and you don't love that they've done something, but then your response to that is when they challenge you, all right, I'll remember that.
No,
that's not good. No. You know what? I did that. I remember one time. I'll tell you a funny story. My first girlfriend, I remember going to her yard or whatnot, and she had a picture of Tupac in her bedroom or whatnot, and she's lipsing me up watching this picture. As I've opened my eyes now, because bearing in mind, like when I was like younger and that.
What do you mean watching the picture? She had her eyes open.
She had her eyes open a bit, and she was just looking at my man. Yeah.
Was she really, or you?
Nah, she was looking at my man. Yeah, that's how I saw it. Anyway, okay. It was in my head that way. That's how I saw it. So anyway, now bearing in mind, just obviously, like when I was first lipsing and that, I wasn't really privy to this proper closing your eyes stuff. So sometimes I'll be lipsing with my eyes open or whatever.
That's creepy, Chuckie.
So anyway, I'm lipsing her with my eyes open and that. And then I can see her looking at my man. So I'm saying, what, are you looking at him? Then she was just like, she just laughed it off. She was just being silly, But that touched me. Instead of me just saying, nah, like I didn't really, for whatever reason, and having a little conversation about it, I'm like, I'll remember that. So do you know what I did? I went straight to HMV.
Stop it. You bought a picture
of Ealing Broadway. I bought a picture of a model. And I bought blue tack. Gone to my yard now,
Chuckie
and I've
said,
got a big
revenge.
And like obviously I was overcooking this blue tap as well. I just got the big bit now, rolled it into a big ball.
It's not falling off.
Yeah, exactly. So it's up there now. Boom, 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 boom.
This is joke.
So anyway, she's come to my yard now, And I remember she's looked at it. She never said nothing, but I know she's just thinking like, what? Like, why is that there like that? So now, when I'm lipsing her up now, I'm looking at the thing.
This is so funny.
I started looking at the thing, and she was annoyed about that. And then I was like, yeah, well, see now because of, you get what I'm saying? And then we had it turned into a big argument or whatnot. But I also realised like a little bit after that where like, that wasn't really the move.
No.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that just wasn't even, because what happened is, even though one, she might not even have been looking at it like that, but just going back to like in adult situations, yeah. If you say to someone, you know what, cool, I'll remember that, it almost means that what you're saying is that person is doing what they're doing and oblivious to what it is that they're doing. They're not doing it to hurt your feelings. Yeah. Yeah, you can have a conversation with them and tell them it is actually hurting my feelings. So if you do it again, I'm just letting you know this is how I'm going to react, and you can do that. But if you obviously say, you know, I remember that, essentially what you're saying is, I'm going to do something to hurt your feelings so that you can feel how I feel. Yeah. And it's like, sometimes that ends up backfiring on you, because then what then happens is sometimes they turn around and say, oh, is that what you're on? Oh, I'm just not even on.
Yeah, it's true.
And then you just you cut your nose to spite your face a little bit.
Yeah, but then again, it's hard because in certain situations, it's someone that you could have then said, no, this is annoying me, and it would have been like, you're being silly. And
What's
then
that?
You could have turned around in that moment though and been like, oh, this is actually annoying me, and she could have then downplayed it.
Yeah, but then that's a problem too, because it's like, downplay it in a way to make me understand what it is that you was doing. But don't downplay my feelings, because ultimately it's not about that. It's about how I'm feeling right now is how I'm feeling, isn't it? Let's talk about that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I fully, that was just devil's advocate there, because I fully agree with you. I'm very much, as you know, if I feel away, I'll just say it. Yeah. I can't sit and fester on things. If anything, I overtalk things. Right. Even to the point where I've been in situations before where someone's actually kind of treated me like a dickhead, but I still want to have the conversation because I want to understand. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Even if I know there's no coming back from this, I still want you to understand why I felt that way. And
do you overdo that sometimes though?
Maybe.
Have you ever brought it up for the 5th time?
No, I don't. It's not that. It's not that I'll keep bringing things up. Right. It's more like when there's a situation that's happened and the conversation hasn't happened, but it's just done. Right. I still would like to have that conversation, because maybe there's just a part of me that's like, maybe if you really knew how you made me feel, you'd feel bad, or like you'd understand. Yeah. You know, like it comes back to that whole like ghosting thing or whatever. Like, if it's like, do you really realise what you're doing? Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And also, if I ever make...
What if they don't?
Well, that's the thing, because...
Are you able to then say, you know what, that made me feel away, but it was so not a thing. Like, it wasn't like that for you, that, you know what, okay, I'm going to actually do my best to understand.
Yeah, I understand where you came. Some people like communicate differently as well. Like I've grown up in a household where there's like very much like open communication. There's the one thing my dad ever said to me is don't lie. Like I will be, both my parents really, but my dad in particular, who's like so chilled. Growing up, my parents were so like liberal with me. Like, you can do what you want. If your friends are all going to a party, we're not going to be like, well, you can't go. You know. They wanted me to feel in a space where, say I did end up in a situation where I feel like I'm somewhere dodgy, I could call them and I'm not going to be in trouble. You know, so I've grown up in a way that there's been open communication and things don't get swept under the rug. So maybe I have a privilege as such in that I can communicate because of that. Whereas maybe for somebody who didn't grow up in that way, who finds confrontation and communication really, really hard, they're not going to as naturally be able to do that. So that's, I guess sometimes there's figuring that out. But
this is the thing, like, I think as well, like, sometimes it obviously is about how you feel, but sometimes it is also about like about trying to understand for like, why did you do that, or why has that happened, and then truly trying to understand that. Because I guess sometimes, depending on the context, if you then can understand that, then it can help with the way that you feel. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? As opposed to like them, as opposed to it being about them saying, oh, like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's more than them
Like,
understand.
I get,
if they turn around, say you had a conversation with somebody who's done you dirty a little bit, whatever, and you speak to them and they're like, you know what, I don't care. Then I'm like, cool, you're just a dickhead.
Yeah, right.
But more time, when you do have those conversations with people, they often... Most people are not bad, you know, especially when you've had like a friendship or something with someone before. There are people that are just bad, but on the most part, it's just often lack of communication, miscommunications, and whatever. And being on the receiving end of it, I would hate to have hurt somebody or like made someone feel away and not be aware of it. I would like them to come and confront me and tell me, so that I can either turn around and say, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't realise I did that," or actually, okay, yeah, the reason I did that is because of blah, blah, blah. Like, so that's why I would want, you know, do to others as you would have done to you. Right. So I would always, like, want that. So for me, when I've been in a situation like that, I want to almost have that, like...
Yeah.
I actually had a situation 2 nights ago. I went to a birthday thing, and there was a girl there that I've met before. So this girl, I'd seen her online before, and I thought she was beautiful. And I remember when I met her, it was at an event, and I remember saying to her, "Oh my God, I just thought your picture you posted, it was fire." And then that was it. And that was all the communication that I remember having with this girl on this night. So then I went to this birthday thing, and this girl was there. I went and sat next to her, and I said, "Oh yeah, we met at so-and-so." And she goes, "Yeah, we met, and you were kind of rude to me." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "I was?" I was like, "I thought the conversation we had was that I came and complimented your picture." And she goes, "Yeah, you did. And then later in the night, you like were giving me evils."
Oh,
and I was like... Listen, I've never given anyone evils in my life. Like, that's not my style to stand in the corner and give evils. So I was like, whether I was going through a moment or something and I had a screw face on and you happened to be in the direction. And I was like, anyway, I said, well, I'm really sorry if you felt like I did that, but I can tell you I definitely didn't mean to. I thought we'd met and had a nice conversation, and that was that. But in that moment, I thought, God, imagine I didn't bump into her. She could, you know, her perception of me would have been, oh, I met that Antigoni girl and she was rude. Yeah, and so that would annoy me. I'd rather people like to confront me on it, but...
No, I hear that still.
But everyone communicates differently.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I've had a couple of those as well, actually. Oh my God, you're not a dickhead.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
No, what did I do? Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah.
Davide. I've got to say this.
Go on.
I really fuck with Davide.
Davide's hilarious.
Davide, in Love Island, you see the times that he was lipsing girls and that?
Yeah.
He lipsed every girl like he wanted to fuck them to bits.
Passion.
What? I'm seeing him like lipsing, like he's like a real, like when he's in, I know that I think he can obviously compartmentalize.
Right.
Like, you know what? I'm going to kiss her just to kiss her. Do you get what I'm saying? Or I'm going to kiss you because I like you. But either way, it's all on 100. 100%. What? He's giving every piece of it. Like, he's giving every piece of it. I'm like, yo, like, a few more seconds of this, he's looking like he's looking to chop so now. Funny. Like, it's crazy.
He's really funny.
But yeah,
really
they had a good time. I was obviously a little bit EkinSu. had my things with her and whatnot. But she just became really, really good TV.
She
you know what I'm saying?
Like, her and Davide carried the show. You know,
Yeah,
I have no
absolutely.
qualms in saying that. There's this, it's quite kind of frustrating right now, and I don't even know whether to address it because sometimes you make things worse. But like, there's this like narrative online that I like have had this like literally that I don't like EkinSu, and there's like the whole of my Twitter is like, why do you hate EkinSu? You're jealous of EkinSu.
Oh yeah,
like,
I did see something like
yeah,
that.
and there's all this like, you've been shading her, and it's like, I have not ever once ever said in any interview or anything that I ever had a problem with EkinSu. I actually said we got along. All I said was that there was one moment that I found that we had a little bit of a thing and we spoke about it and it was fine and we moved on. Right. But you know what you were saying about how people online will like write a narrative and talk about it like it's, pardon?
They'll just run with it, isn't it? And
run with it, like
there's nothing you can say.
Yeah, and I don't want to reply to like trolls because then you just encourage more people to troll because they're like, oh, I'm gonna get a response. But like, I've not once ever said that I had an issue. And when I went to the reunion, first thing I did when I saw Davide and EkinSu come in is I knocked on the dressing room door. I said, congratulations. By the way, there's some stuff online. I hope you know that's not like how I feel at all. And then Ekin was like, oh no, I don't care about what's online. And that was that. Like, it's annoying because if I had an issue, I would say. And now I'm like getting a lot of like, you know, kind of negativity for something that's like I don't even feel or never. It's like, you have bad mouth, Chair, and I'm like, where? When?
Yeah, I remember I saw someone someone messaged, I think I sent it to you. Oh my God! You never put Antigoni on your Insta story. What's your all she ever does is show you love, and you just
Someone said that to you.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are you talking
You
about?
always put me in the story.
Exactly. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Someone is just they
run with the narrative, but the thing is, then it becomes like a mob thing on Twitter, and I'm like.
By the way, I always read every message first as, oh my God, I'm so outraged.
Yeah.
That's how even though they didn't say it, that's how when I read the message, the first part of the message is, oh my God, I'm so outraged. Insert the next part.
Yeah.
And then it's like, bro, you don't even care. You don't even care.
No.
You don't care. Like, why are you messaging me? You're messaging me stuff that you don't care about. You don't even care about it.
But you know what, like, Twitter's mean, you know.
Yeah, Twitter's.
Like, it's actually mean. Like, even
war.
the reunion.
Twitter's
we
war.
just had the reunion show.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I heard it was dry.
It was a bit dry, to be honest with you. And like,
I want to get to Summer and Coco in a bit. By the way.
All right. I mean, honestly, I don't know too much about it.
Go on
like,
anyway.
so I actually
Go
can't.
on,
Anyway.
just go on.
But you know, so like, I was like, why is everyone being so mean like on Twitter? Because there was two things.
What
that
do people mean to you?
To me, like, I wasn't even in the reunion too much. I had like two little moments.
Let me see.
And the two moments where Laura Whitmore came over and asked me a question.
Yeah.
Since being on the show, has it inspired any music?
Right.
So I turned, which I was really happy with that question. I was like, I love that I'm being asked a question about music.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, before I went on the show, I wrote this song called You Can Have Him. And it's about the idea that, like, if you could take my man, you can have him. Twitter was like, oh my God, why is Antigoni just plugging her music? And I was like, it's coming out in September. Why is Antigoni just plugging her music? Like, all she ever wants to do is plug her music. Like, no one cares about your single.
Not Antigoni making a whole song about her 5 minutes with Davide.
I wrote the song in April. Like,
when he's already married with EkinSu.
Yeah. So this is the other thing. So everyone's like, no, the songs with You Can Have Him. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, this song was written in April. I didn't even know Davide or EkinSu then. So, like, first of all, it's been taken that it's about that, which it wasn't. Yeah. And second of all, like, I submitted the song to release before I even stepped foot in that villa, just disclaimer.
Right.
Second of all, it was like, I got asked a question about music, so I answered it. Like, do you know what I mean? And then the second thing was, we had to do this, like, cheesy music video to a One Direction song. It was just all the Love Islanders, like, after we left the villa, singing along to the song and miming. Now, I had my guitar with me because the 2 weeks in quarantine, I was like, this is a good time to write some music and have my guitar. So I had my guitar out there with me. Right. And Riaz, the After Sun guy, who was lovely, by the way, shout out to him. He really made me feel better when I was, like, really sad. Anyway, he was like, oh, why don't you actually sing it? Because everyone else can be miming, but you can sing, you got your guitar here, can you play it? Like, do it. And we can weave it into the video. And I was like, yeah, lit, that'll be fun, whatever. So that everyone's miming along or whatever. And then the little breakdown bit is, baby, you light up my... And I just had a little bit and I'm singing and playing the guitar. Mm-hmm. The tweets were like, oh my God, why is Antigoni singing? Like, why does it, like, you know, she's definitely not playing the guitar. And like, you know...
Oh, they were saying that you weren't playing the guitar.
Yeah, someone goes... Antigoni's mum has ITV in a chokehold with this free promo. I'm like, I wish my mum had that kind of sway. Like, I wouldn't have left after a week if that was the case.
Who was it that said Antigoni has been dressing like Aladdin for 3 weeks?
Yeah, these ones are killing me. So people were like, giving me these insults about how all I dress is like belly out, crop top. So the tweets are like, why is Antigoni dressing like Aladdin? I'm like, I think that's kind of cute.
Yeah,
like, I'm not mad at it. Someone posted a picture. Do you know that green JLo Versace dress? The iconic, let me actually find it. Let me actually find the tweet because it's really funny. Someone tweeted, yeah, okay, here it is. Antigoni really needs to give up that dress style. It's giving JLo in the green Versace dress.
Was it? Oh shit.
And then I quoted it going, if it's given anything close to this, then I'm happy with it.
Oh,
how are you insulting me and telling me that it's giving JLo? I'll take it.
That's a great compliment as far as I'm concerned.
But it's kind of funny because everyone's like, does this girl own any full-length tops? And I'm like, I kind of don't, to be honest with you.
Well, you know, Twitter is Twitter, isn't it?
Yeah,
but you know what the thing is,
to
be fair, in the greater scheme of it, it's been light for you on social media.
Oh God, please don't make it any heavier. I don't like it.
You know, Danica was getting Danica.
Danica, yeah. Danica.
Yeah, she was getting a lot of it for a bit, and then I think people started feeling sorry for her for a bit.
That's why
she was getting the HR thing and that.
But she plays on it, like she takes it on the chin, like.
Right. Yeah, she's doing like sounds like a manager and all that.
Yeah.
Then what's her name? Coco was getting a big and still is now. And to be honest with you, yeah. Okay, so and I just messaged my brother before I came here as well. What? Yeah, I messaged someone that I know, shall I say? Yeah. About it because I was like, I'm so baffed at like what the actual problem is. For me, what I saw is. Firstly, was Summer and Josh a couple in the villa?
Yeah, but it just started.
They just started. Okay, cool. Right. Then obviously he left with Coco in it. Yeah. So he's gone into now the other villa now. The quarantine villa. Coco saying that she was there with him or whatnot, and they were just chilling and whatever. And then now he said that he was horny or whatnot. It alluded to the fact that like his thing's rising, he might want to think.
Right.
Then she's like, okay, well I'm just gonna go to bed now. But then said, you know what? In hindsight, I should have just smashed him because he's a good-looking don or whatnot. Yeah. I didn't see a problem with that, and the reason why I didn't see a problem with that is because, like, her and Summer are not I didn't see them as friends, but also that wasn't her man. It just wasn't anyone's. If I'll be honest with you, sorry, my bro. If anyone may have been, I don't even want to say in the wrong, but like, if my man is telling this girl, you know what, like I'm into you or whatnot, then he's got into a villa and said to the next gal, you know what, I'm horny, alluding to the fact that I want to smash. Essentially, the beef should be with my man, not with her. Yeah. But I think it's because it seems as though from the edit, sorry, Coco, Coco's tactic more was when she came in there, it was more on a sexual thing. You know what, I'm going to try and get chopped, like I'm going to, whatever it is. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I don't think that, firstly, that went down well with the public eye anyway. So now, when doing the overly sexual thing, which you are entitled to do and be able to do, it's just society, you know what society's like. Now when you're in a situation where there's an argument about a man, more time people are going to look at her and say, like, well, you're moving mad anyway. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I don't...
Are you going to back Summer now?
No. I'm actually about... disclaimer like you did earlier. I don't like to talk on things that I don't really know the ins and outs of. And I've only met them all like very briefly and whatever, so I don't really know the deeper thing of it. Pretty as well, boy. Yeah, beautiful. And I met them both for the first time I met Summer when we both went on Lorraine, lovely girl. Met Coco at the reunion, also really lovely. So from the outside, I just think my perspective from what I saw, might be wrong, was that I think Coco and Summer were friends and it was like a friendship, and it was maybe like, why are you coming out saying the guy I'm seeing wanted to fuck you?
Because he did.
Yeah, but then really, if you're my friend, pull me to the side and tell me that.
Do you know where you, honestly, respectfully, where I feel that, and I have to generalise here now.
Yeah.
Because I do find that this usually happens more of women than it does with men. You like had a light moment together and now you're brethrens.
Right,
you're not friends.
Right, yeah.
You're just not even friends. And my girl asked a question and she's talking about it in the context of it. She's just saying. In fact, do you know what? And again, I'm speculating. I am speculating here, but maybe she could have even have said more. But out of respect, she just said a little bit. I would be intrigued to find out what she told her brethrens.
Yeah.
What really transpired and how she really felt and what kind of conversations was really happening. Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't really have an opinion on it.
Right.
It's just, I haven't really paid attention to it.
Yeah.
But it just kicked off a little bit in the reunion. They definitely didn't show as much.
Did they punch each other up though?
No, they didn't actually. But it was very much like, oh my god, is it still going? Oh, whoa! I think there was even a bit they cut to my face. I was like,
yeah, I saw it.
It was a bit.
Yeah, it just looked like they started to just get to that real bickering stage, and no one was really going to back down until someone. And the presenter was obviously doing his best to divert it by saying it's your fault, me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But
I don't really know. I haven't spoken to. I don't know what the depth is between Summer and Josh. I don't know what happened in the holding. Like, it's hard to. But like,
can I tell you, in this life, unfortunately, until it is your partner, unfortunately, it's everyone's.
Oh my god! Until he's your man, he's not your man.
Everyone.
And more time when he is your man.
Still
He's still not your man. That's one thing that's blown my mind.
And you know what?
swear.
I think sometimes, man, if that is, I guess it's easier said than done, but sometimes, you know what? You just listen to someone and everything that they say tells you about who they are a lot of the time. It doesn't even necessarily mean an argument. I just think, not that it's that, I just don't even think it's that deep. That whole thing that I saw, I actually thought, not only was it not that deep, but it's easy for me to say because I'm not involved. But not only was it not that deep, but it almost did feel as though maybe this was the one thing that needed to be blown out of proportion to make this whole episode
a bit more interesting.
Not to say that they were doing that purposely, but
No.
But it's this is the only thing that really happened, so let's just all just blow this out of proportion and just talk about it. Yo, the reality is, I don't even think he smashed Coco anyway. He's obviously, and you know what? He's young. How old is he? He seems like a fun guy.
21, 22
he's
or something.
single.
Yeah.
No one's none of these not really. No one's in a relationship. No one is proper friends like that. Really, it's just going to be.
Listen, when you come out of that world, it's so intense. It's so 100 miles an hour. There's and I think for a guy, especially a good-looking guy, you're going to have so many girls on you. Say you're one of the finalist couples that have had the opportunity and time to build this really deep bond. Even then, it's going to be hard coming out to that world. Let alone when you guys only just started making a bond. Really, it's probably important to come out. Maybe that's, you need to come out and live that a little bit before you settle.
100. I think that. Anyway. This is coming from my mouth, by the way. With that being said, I think that Dami is going to fuck that all the way up, to be honest with you. I love India. I hope
India,
not.
Dami.
But you know what? I think it's going to happen. I think that...
India is listen, cold. She is...
She's cold.
But
do you know what? I'm not going to lie.
She's beautiful.
Honest.
She's lovely. She's funny.
I would have loved to have just... obviously, Dami's cool, whatnot, yeah? I just would have loved to have seen India and Deji, though. And can I just say as well, I think Deji I've met Deji.
Yeah, he's
a proper
good
cool
vibes,
brother.
Yeah.
I actually really like him.
I do love India and Dami.
I know you got to do that, and I understand.
No, it's not that I got to do that. They were both genuinely when I got in there, before they would even got together, I was like, oh, them two. And then the way I saw them in there together, it was really good vibes. I really do think that they're good together. But yeah, I mean, I get.
Do you know what it is? Being good together in the villa, when there's no distractions, is great. But see, when there is distractions, it's all a bit mad, because you know what? Dami. You
just remixed their names together.
Dami and India were having a really good time together in the villa and whatnot, yeah. And also the reality is he was having a really good time in Casa Rumour too. He had a great time. So I think he's a person who knows how to adapt to situations, and I feel like he's a good time anyway. Regardless, I don't think that his good time is just limited to him being a good time of a woman. I think he's probably a good time with his mates, really good time. You take him to Ibiza, a single man in Ibiza, take him to Ibiza. It's just a vibe. Take him to it's just a vibe, yeah. But obviously, I would love to see India being happy and whatnot. But I predict an announcement soon. I predict hey everyone, a black background.
I hope we don't miss it.
A black background with white text. Saying what happened, and then Deji.
Oh, you
get what I'm saying?
A reconnection.
Right. But obviously, this is
Dami
all just going by.
That's why I on the first day. I had to choose my dates.
Right.
That's why I even chose Dami for that first date, because I knew him and India were vibes, and I was I knew I'd be friends with India because she had just that London vibe that I knew I'd get along with her. But I chose him for a date because I thought he's just fun, and I knew that we would get along and a chat, and he is a great character like that.
Yeah, he seems cool still.
But I don't know, hopefully you don't mess it up. We'll see.
Yeah, I predict an announcement still. And yeah, for some reason there's some mad thing where I feel like Tasha and Andrew are actually going to do all right together.
Hey, I said this from when I first came out the villa and everyone looked at me sideways. I literally said Tasha and Andrew are one of the strongest couples in there, and everyone was like, what? Because they were getting so much hate at the time.
Yeah, because it was looking as though.
Yeah, it was looking as though. But
every time a Don was coming in, she was trying to...
but let me put it to you how that happens. No, let me put it to you how that happens. Someone new will come in. For example, when I was there, it was Charlie. they come in and they set their sights on who they're interested in. He was interested in Tasha. Now, everyone around you, the producers, but also like the people in there are like, we're here for Love Island. This is the thing. You owe it to that person and to yourself to at least explore that. So go on the date and be open and see. So, you know, she was even a bit skeptical before she went on that date. But she said, all right, you know what? Let me go. And now each time that happened, she went on the date. She had a good time. She was like, yeah, but I still like Andrew. And it happened again, but I still like Andrew. Now, it's not her fault if everyone came in and wanted to get to know her.
No, but I don't think that was so much the issue. I think that where it became an issue maybe for people, and I can't remember exactly the behaviour pattern now, but it was almost as though it wasn't about, like, let me just talk to this person. Right. It was more about like where her head was at and like the way that she was behaving in those moments when it came to that. And I think that's why people started picking it apart a little bit. Like, I'm trying to remember, there was like, I may be saying this wrong, but I just remember there was like a bit where they were like super really close or whatever, and then it seemed as though that they were obviously, so they were going into something, and then someone else came in, and then it was like, you know what, this new person's in, I don't want to be exclusive to anything, I just want to just get to know other people, which I think ultimately was probably the right thing to do, because you just don't want to like, you're running at 100 miles an hour or whatnot. But I think it's like when you're looking at like the way it was yesterday. Yeah. Like yesterday, the body language is not matching the way that it is matching now when my man's coming.
You've also got to remember you're only seeing a snippet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because when I was there, Tasha and Andrew were together all the time, joint by the hip. But then on the days when there was like certain things going on, you just wouldn't have seen that. There's a lot that you don't see, you know. So it's, you come out and you see everyone's perspective, and it's a bit like, oh, really? That's not. You know, for me, when I came out, everyone hated Jax. And I was like, oh, I didn't see this person that everyone hates.
Yeah, but do you know what? I'm going to play devil's advocate here, yeah? We are only seeing an edit. But remember, we're also seeing parts of a conversation that you haven't seen either, though. So, like, even though there's, like, certain parts where there's an edit, there's still a conversation being had here.
Yeah,
like, and, like, there's certain parts in that conversation that isn't really cool, regardless of the context, but you're not privy to that bit because you're over there at the pool.
Conversation.
Yeah, it's a private conversation. Do you get what I'm saying? And then remember, it's like, it's not just one conversation. It's another one, then another. Remember, no one saw really. Remember when they had a cute moment actually, where he got up out of the bed and they went and they just like sat and they just
that was so cute.
It was cute, and the thing is, you lot might have...
Oh, wait, hold on.
It was Jackson.
I was talking about India and Tammy then. That moment.
They got up and then they were just like, it was late in the night or whatever. Yeah. Someone who's awake might actually see that there's two people that have gone and had a conversation, but you haven't heard the conversation. No. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. We're hearing it, even though it's edited, but we're still hearing certain parts and getting the gist of the conversation. So when you start tallying things together, then rightly or wrongly, you start like looking at the character of a person. And... you know what? I think, people can have bad edits and stuff and they can make them look really bad, and they can also, on the flip side, make someone look really good. As you said, they didn't even show Gemma's like dirty mouth or whatever. They didn't really show that type of stuff. They'll just kind of show you what they want to show.
It's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Like somebody who got a really bad edit, I think, was Charlie.
Oh, Charlie, it was I'm going to be honest with you, it looked like a shit show for Charlie.
Yeah, but he's so, like, and I think people have seen it now because he's been on TikTok and he's been about and whatever. He's really funny, like, witty, doesn't take himself too seriously, you know, but, like, God, when he first came off the show, it was not...
Yeah, it was mad.
Yeah, and that was, like, the peak, but I guess he has another chance to show it now.
Yeah, and then people, like, later on, and people just get over it and forget about it.
But, yeah, I mean, back to, like, how we got here with the whole... Josh Coco Summer thing, blah, blah, blah. You're right in the sense of that, until someone's your man.
Yeah, then they are everyone's. And yes, you will expect a friend to move differently. And also, you would expect someone that isn't necessarily a friend, but someone that you're just okay with to have some courtesy. But I do think that sometimes, if you're just kind of cool with someone, sometimes you're probably just expecting a little bit too much from that person.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. I think as of like... gone on in life, you realise yeah, nobody owes you anything. They're not
Nah,
gonna just
man.
because you might move a certain way doesn't mean that other people will.
Exactly, and
You
it
can't
also
expect
doesn't mean that you should then move mad because they did.
because they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but this is a bit of a tangent, but it is still linked. It does, being like, you know, outside over the last like year and a half or whatever, it does blow my mind the way that people move.